Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Welcome to another edition of Front and Center, where we put very significant issues affecting our country, the Philippines, as our program title says, Front and Center. On behalf of our colleague Jerome Toledo, I am your host for today, Steph Vicente, joining you all for a 30-minute worth of talk discussing important matters with our government officials, people from the private sector, or even members of the academe. As seen through our video live streaming, you may watch and listen to Front and Center through our official Facebook page. Just search Radyo Pilipinas World Service. The same goes for our official YouTube channel. Meanwhile, we also have an audio live streaming thanks to the Evox PBS Receiver app. You may download the said mobile application via Google Play Store if you are using an Android phone or via App Store if you are using an iPhone. Once you have entered the Evox PBS Receiver app, just find the logo of Radyo Pilipinas World Service in order for you to be able to listen live to our programs such as Front and Center. We are also back on shortwave radio starting last week, as Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning Philippine Standard Time. You may listen to us via the following shortwave radio frequencies: 12.020 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.665 MHz. For today's edition of Front and Center, we are going to talk about a network of digital advocates calling on the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to review the passenger fare bidding and selective trip acceptance mechanisms of the Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS platform in Drive, following mounting commuter complaints. What exactly are these complaints, and what are the possible solutions for this? In regards to our chosen topic for today's episode of Front and Center, we are once again being joined by Digital Pinoy's national campaigner Ronald Gustilo here in the program. Mr. Gustilo, welcome to Front and Center. This is Steph Vicente again of Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good morning, Steph, and good morning to our listeners worldwide.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gustilo, for joining us once again here in Front and Center. To start, what prompted Digital Pinoys to raise concerns about InDrive's fare bidding system at this time?
Well, it was already been previously flagged by the LTFRB. They were actually suspended regarding that issue, but they were allowed later on to continue their operations. Now, recently, over the past few weeks, we've received complaints, and we've also monitored social media platforms wherein passengers have been complaining that many drivers actually are cherry-picking their trips. So, because they noticed it because when you try to book using InDrive, you will first see the fare that you're supposed to pay. So then when you activate the prompt to start the booking process, you will be able to see how many drivers are within your vicinity.
Yes.
So in turn, the drivers around your booking area will be able to see your booking, and they will also be able to see your destination and the fare. So in turn, the drivers can bid a certain amount, probably higher, most often are higher than the prescribed fare. And if you don't want to accept their bid, they will not be accepting your trip as well. And many drivers have been choosing trips that they deem easier, or they have been not accepting bookings that they deem that destination is too far or too congested, or for them the fare is lower than what they deem is rightful. No, so this has been a recurring problem now, and we are hoping that the LTFRB will look into this as soon as possible.
Okay. It is noted that fair bidding creates a de facto surge environment. How does this differ from traditional surge pricing used by other TNVS platforms?
Well, the search fare for the other platforms, it's dictated by algorithm. So basically, the drivers and the passengers cannot do anything about it. No, so whatever the platform or the app, whatever fare the app gives you, it's the fare that you're going to pay. But with this fare bidding mechanism, it it empowers the driver to negotiate the fare that they want, which is synonymous to a taxi driver who haggling the fare of a would-be passenger, which the LTFRB has been flagging ever since. So I don't see much difference in this regard. So that's why we flagged this concern.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And Sir Ronald, which sectors of commuters are most affected by the current system of this fair bidding?
Well, of course, since the drivers can see how much is the fare of a passenger that they will be paying, the most vulnerable sectors here are those who are supposed to avail of special discounts, like students, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, and even those who are not able to shell out additional money for their trips. Like for example, if you are budget conscious but you can afford to ride TNVS service, if they suddenly raise the fare, that passenger will not be able to ride anymore. So it adds to the disenfranchised passengers that will not be able to avail of the service anymore. And it adds to the burden of the other modes of transportation, the cheaper ones, who that we know is also not enough to service the general commuting public.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And now that you have mentioned that, we would just like to ask, from your perspective, how do long waiting times and repeated fare increases affect these vulnerable sectors' access to safe and reliable transportation, particularly during this holiday season?
Well, of course, it takes them longer to book. The longer it takes them to book, the longer they would have to wait for them to get home, given that these sectors are vulnerable, like the senior citizens and the persons with disability and the pregnant women and the students. It's very dangerous for them. Aside from waiting too much, they could get tired easily, or we don't know what other bad things that may happen to them. No, hopefully they won't experience it. So that's why we're asking the LTFRB to immediately look into this matter. And actually today, LTFRB will be conducting a consultation in a few in an hour, and I will be joining that consultation today so that we can help the commuters raise their concerns.
Mm-mm. Okay. Um, in the news released just from Digital Pinoy's, your group says it supports innovation. What kind of innovation do you think is acceptable, and where should regulators draw the line?
I think this whole TNVS innovation has been very good for many sectors, but unfortunately, during the periods like the holiday rush, commuters have been receiving the losing end. No? So, uh, what we want to have is an environment where every stakeholder benefits from it, and not one side will get the losing end. No, so we are trying to find a balance here between the passengers, the drivers, and the platform.
It seems our communication is abruptly cut. We will just call again Sir Ronald to expand further his response to our previous question. Okay, Sir Ronald, go ahead.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do here is to find balance between the commuters, the drivers, and the platforms, no, so that everyone will still get uh, served and get what they deserve to earn, right? So we are hoping that through these consultations being conducted by the LTFRB, policy that will ensure fair practices in the TNVS communities will be upheld and will be enforced by the regulators.
Mm-mm.
When fare is getting too high or too expensive, many passengers cannot afford it anymore. And we also understand that if the fares get too low, many drivers uh, won't be going out to pick up passengers anymore. So that's why we're trying to find the right balance here.
Mm-mm. And speaking of, since you have mentioned that you will be in a consultation meeting with the LTFRB, what else will Digital Pinoys be asking the LTFRB when it comes to reviewing the fair bidding and trip acceptance policies?
Well, we're also going to be asking about the surge pricing. Basically, the consultation is about surge pricing today, but it will also include our concern, hopefully. So yeah, we will be raising these concerns, and we will also include, of course, the passenger safety concerns during the holiday season.
Mm-mm. And also from the perspective of Digital Pinoys, um do I think this has to be emphasized since we're talking about the TNVS specifically in Drive. Do in Drive's current mechanisms comply with existing TNVS regulations and service standards?
Yeah, that's what we are asking LTFRB to look into InDrive's mechanism if it's compliant with the regulations set by LTFRB.
Mm-mm. And also from what was stated in a news release by Digital Pinoys, it was mentioned this measure submitting aggregated complaints. What trends or data points stand out from these passenger reports?
Well, what stands out is that many passengers have been complaining. They've been trying to get a booking for a prolonged period of time, and their fares are getting higher. So that's what we've been getting from all the information that we've gathered so far. And there's one specific case where a pregnant woman was unable to get a booking, and despite her pleas to the drivers. So this is things that we are considering right now to bring to LTFRB's attention.
Mm-mm. And what steps, although of course you will have a meeting with the LTFRB today, but we would just like to know that what Digital Pinoys think of this. What steps should the government or LTFRB take immediately to protect commuters during the holiday rush?
Well, first and foremost, they have to implement a better management plan for the holiday season, because as we know, everybody has been going out during this next few days. It has already started last week, so it doesn't. Even if LTFRB implements strict control on the fare, if the traffic congestion is very intense, people will get stranded. So that's the first thing that the government needs to address. Second, after putting up plans and implementing it, the government should also control at least the surge fare. We don't we're not calling for the abolition of the surge fare. What we want is first clear guidelines on fare surge. Second, control on the fare surge, because if the fare is too expensive, passengers will not be able to afford it. There will be more passengers stranded because of the fare.
Mm-mm. And of course, maybe some of the TNVS platforms are listening to us now. What recommendations would Digital Pinoys give to those platforms to ensure fairness, transparency, and accessibility?
Well, to be fair, I don't think that uh, it should be addressed to the platforms, no. But anyways, if we can suggest, maybe they can decrease the search rate at least for the holiday season. Then they can discuss with the government what else can they do to help mitigate this concern, no. But we understand that these search fares are supposed to be seasonal. So we are hoping that the next uh, the next few days, or at least in the before the year ends, it will be addressed, because as I understand, as the trend goes, by January next year their trips are usually slower than usual.
Mm-mm. And of course, what message would you like to send to commuters who are struggling to secure rides under the current system?
Well, of course, to the passengers, you can always file a complaint with the LTFRB if you're being snubbed, if the drivers are asking way beyond what you're supposed to pay. You can always file a complaint with the LTFRB. If not, you can ask for our help, and we will be very glad to help you.
Mm-mm. And before I let you go, Sir Ronald, we would just like to know your reaction since starting this Wednesday. Although this has not yet happened in the Philippines yet, but of course we would like to have your reaction. Australia is having a social media ban to those individuals under 16 years old. So what's your reaction to this, and is this feasible just in case here in the Philippines?
Well, this is what I've been saying. That if the social media platforms don't clean up, the governments will be forced to impose sanction, impose to will be forced to impose restrictions. So we are hoping that the platforms operating here in the Philippines should be compliant with government regulation, so that the similar concern will not happen in the Philippines.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. And with that, we would like to thank you, Sir Ronald, for giving us insights for today's edition of Front and Center. Until next time, mabuhay po kayo.
Thank you very much, Miss Steph, and have a great day.
And we were just joined by Digital Pinoy's national campaigner Ronald Gustilo in relation to their call to the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, to review the passenger fare bidding and selective trip acceptance mechanisms of the Transport Network Vehicle Service, or TNVS platform in Drive, following mounting commuter complaints. And we also heard his opinion or perception regarding Australia's social media ban on individuals under 16 years old. We will just have a short break, and when we come back, we will discuss other important topics here in the program Front and Center.
Mabilis ang trivia, dagdag talino. Heto na ang Dagling Kaalaman.
Alam mo ba, kumakain daw ng sarili ang ating utak araw-araw? Ang prosesong ito ay tinatawag na phagocytosis, kung saan ang mga cells sa utak ay nililinis ang mga sirang bahagi o sobrang koneksyon para manatiling maayos ang takbo ng ating isip. Kapag natutulog tayo, mas aktibo pa ito na parang garbage collector ng utak na naglilinis ng mga basurang selula at lumang koneksyon. At sa proseso ng paglaki, lalo na sa adolescence, tinatanggal ng utak ang mga hindi na ginagamit na koneksyon para mas maging matalino, mas mahusay at mas handa tayo sa adult life. Kaya oo, kumakain ng sarili ang utak mo, pero ginagawa niya ito para mas maging mahusay ka.
Kaunting kaalaman na malaking dagdag talino. Abangan muli ang susunod na Dagling Kaalaman.
Mas pinadali na ang government transactions sa tulong ng eGov.ph Super App. Pwedeng-pwede mo nang magawa ang lahat ng ito. I-download ang eGov app sa iyong smartphone o tablet mula sa App Store o Google Play Store. Pagkatapos, ilagay ang iyong mobile number at i-authenticate gamit ang one-time PIN o OTP para marehistro ang iyong account. Saka ilagay ang iyong mga pangunahing impormasyon at kumpletuhin ang facial recognition technology para sa verifikasyon ng iyong pagkakakilanlan. Para sa mas mabilis at mas maayos na serbisyong panggobyerno, gamitin na ang eGov.ph Super App.
And now we're back here in the program Front and Center. As we approach the end of this day's edition, we will just have to discuss some of the very important updates from here in the Philippines. So one of these updates is the swearing in of veteran fiscal expert Rolando Toledo as acting Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. We could recall that former DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman just resigned recently, and here it is, an update from the DBM. I will just read this news item just for you to have a full update. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has sworn in veteran fiscal expert Rolando Toledo as acting Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, or DBM. Toledo took his oath at Malacanang Palace in Manila on Tuesday, and in a statement, acting Secretary Toledo thanked President Marcos for the trust and vowed to uphold discipline, integrity, and urgency in managing public funds. The acting secretary also committed to responsible, transparent, and people-centered governance, saying every peso of the national budget must deliver real and felt results. Of course, Acting Secretary Toledo also acknowledged the DBM workforce for its professionalism, noting that the agency's strength lies in its dedicated personnel. A certified public accountant, Acting Secretary Toledo joined the DBM in 1987 as an accounts analyst and rose through the ranks over nearly 4 decades. He previously led the Secretariat of the Philippine Open Government Partnership, playing a key role in advancing transparency, accountability, and citizen participation. So that's That's an update from the DBM. So we're looking forward to see more of the works of Acting Secretary Toledo in the next months or even years to come. So at this point, we'll be ending today's edition of Front and Center. We would like to thank first our technical staff composed of Sir Milo Jonella, Ma'am Susan Aison, Hiro Lucero, and Justin Osias, who made this program possible. Thank you as well to our station manager, Mr. Ray Sampang. And of course, we have to thank again our resource person for today's edition, no other than Mr. Ronald Gustilo, the national campaigner of the digital advocacy group, Digital Pinoys. So stay tuned here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service for more updates. And as mentioned earlier, we're now back on shortwave radio. Since Front and Center is part of our English service, which airs from 10 o'clock to 11:30 in the morning Philippine Standard Time, we would like to share that you may listen to us to this program via the following shortwave frequencies: 12.020 megahertz, 15.640 megahertz, and 17.665 megahertz. Until the next episode of our program, on behalf of Jerome Toledo, this has been your host for today, Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.